So you know, in every family in the Caribbean, or even in the world for that matter, there always seems to be like an auntie or your granny who makes one particular thing like extra well. And for my family and my maternal grandmother, she makes fudge the best. She never really gave gifts. She wouldn't necessarily go out and buy you something you wanted, but when she made fudge, you knew that it was love on a plate or love in a tin. She would usually have like all the tins laid out and all the pans with the wax paper on it already. And I remember one time coming in from school and she was literally standing over the stove, and she had an electric stove, she still has it. And she would just be like legit sweating making this fudge. Just the lady just making fudge, stirring. And it's kind of like that treat is more of a labor of love. It's not the easiest thing to do. It's not the easiest thing to make. It definitely requires patience, and you have to have that perfect timing. She had no thermometer. She would just, she just had instinct and experience, and we would feel that in the taste. She knew when it was right. When it comes to food memories, the reason why it's so potent, I guess you can say, is not just the time, the place. You also have that other sensory element to it. You could see it, and a lot of times you might still be able to get it, you might not still be able to get it. My grandmother's, she's turning 91 this year, and her birthday is always around Mother's Day, so happy birthday, Granny. She doesn't make fudges as much anymore, but I'm hoping that it's a tradition that I can carry on in my family. Granny, I love you, and thank you for making such a delicious fudge, and I'm definitely using some of your tips and tricks to make fudge and to share this with everybody. She's a very special lady, and I think Mother's Day is perfect for her because she's such a huge matriarch for my family. I guess if we had like a family crest, like a chunk of fudge would be on that crest for sure. Here in the Caribbean, we celebrate our rich and diverse heritage every day in every pot. The story of our shared experiences is told in every bite of our favorite dishes. Join us as we explore Caribbean cuisine, where every dish is simply local. So you may have guessed it, today we're making coconut fudge. Now this recipe is based on my grandmother's recipe. I kind of had to tweak it a little bit because some of the ingredients and brands that she used to use back in the day aren't even available anymore. So I kind of had to tweak it to make sure it tastes just like hers. So I'm just gonna jump right into it. So when it comes to fudge making, there's a couple of commandments that you kind of have to stick by. So commandment number 1 is you have to have everything set up and ready to go. Because we're gonna have to be at the stove stirring constantly and really watching our fudge as it boils, we can't have time to like run away. We don't have time to run away and grab things. So make sure you have everything set out in front of you, ready to go. Number 2 is you're gonna have to at some point check the temperature or the state of the fudge. If you have a thermometer, that's fine. You can use a thermometer and I'll tell you exactly what temperature we're looking for. If you don't, that's fine as well. What you can do is I have here a little cup of ice water, and when it reaches to the softball stage, which is 235 degrees Fahrenheit, we're just gonna pull a little bit of the fudge out, drop it in the water, and if it turns into a soft ball, literally a soft ball of sugar, that means we're ready to add our butter. So it'll make more sense as I go along, but you just have to make sure you remember all of that. And then tip number 3 is to make sure that you use a pot with a good solid thick bottom at the base, because if you have a thin bottom pan, you know what's gonna happen. It's gonna burn and you're gonna have to just start all over and you would have wasted ingredients. And we do not want that. So without further ado, let's jump right in and get our fudge making started. So I am putting my pot on the flame. Not really a flame, this is actually a hot plate, but it works pretty well. And I have it on the second highest heat. And I'm just gonna let that heat up. I have some sugar here. I'm gonna add right in. Next, I'm going to add a can of my Cuisine sweetened condensed milk. Just gonna pour that in. And then lastly, we're going to add 2 cups of coconut milk. This coconut milk I actually made from scratch. And what I did is just simply crack open a coconut. I removed the flesh out of the coconut itself, chopped it up, and then I added it to a blender with about 3 cups of water and just pulsed it and then blended it until it became a milk. And then I strained it out, and there you have it, fresh coconut milk. If you don't want to do that step, you can always use canned coconut milk, or you can reconstitute coconut milk with powder. However, as you might guess, fresh is always better, but I understand if there's a lack of time. I know these things take a while, but if you do have the extra time, definitely do the extra step. Everything is starting to melt together and the sugar is going to dissolve. What you're doing is you're just removing a lot of the moisture from the milk and the condensed milk in order to get a really concentrated coconut and sweet flavor. And in the rules of candy making, agitation promotes crystallization. So the more we stir, the more crystals are going to form. And the more crystals form, the harder your fudge is going to be. So it's all about finding the balance between mixing and over mixing and what time to take off the fudge off the stove. But like I said, I will show you all of that. So just sit back and relax. Okay, so we've been stirring for about 10 minutes now, and this is supposed to take a while. If you think it's taking really long, that's normal. It will take a while for the sugar to climb up in temperature. But you can see it start to thick up a little bit more, and we have a lot of bubbles coming in. So what's gonna happen is it's gonna rise with a lot of bubbles, and then eventually as it gets super thick, it's going to drop down, and then you have to cook it for a little bit more. And like I said, as soon as it's ready to pull from the stove, I will tell you. Okay, we've been stirring, and yes, the bubbles are getting bigger and they're popping at like a slower rate. Just have to continue to stir because agitation promotes crystallization, and we want crystallization. It smells so good. All the coconut smell is really concentrating as this liquid is just burning off. Okay, so it's getting super thick. I know I said that the last time, but it's really coming together. I would estimate we're about 3 minutes away from adding our butter and then beating the living daylight out of this fudge. So it's getting super thick now. Like the bubbles are like bloop bloop, like they're really large and they're taking long to pop. So I'm gonna just take a little bit of ice water here that I have. I'm just going to put a little bit into the water, and what's gonna happen is going to cool rapidly. I'm just going to take out the piece that you're sampling and try to see if it comes together. So it is coming together. It's a bit soft. I'm going to let it cook for just a few minutes longer. So as my granny would say, it's starting to get sandy at the sides here, meaning it's starting to crystallize at the sides. So that means we're ready to pull this off the heat, add our butter, and what we're going to do is we're going to incorporate a lot of air and agitate the crap out of this, and it will be fudge. So now I'm gonna add the butter. Let's add our butter. We just have an ounce of butter here. Just going to literally beat the fudge. You wanna be really careful that nothing really splatters on you, because as you can imagine, this is extremely hot. It's like lava. So if you have kids running around, tell them to sit down, because this is hot. All right, it's starting to come together. When it starts to look like peanut butter, I guess that's like a good marker. The color looks actually just like peanut butter. That's when you know it's ready, but it still has a shine to it, so I'm gonna keep beating. Okay, so it looks like peanut butter to me, and the sheen is pretty much gone. We still want it to be pourable so that it can easily transfer into our sheet and we can smooth it down. So just smoothing it down. It doesn't have to be perfect by any means. It just has to kind of be even. And then now I'm just going to take a paring knife here and I'm just going to mark out my pieces. So I'm just gonna let this set until it's completely cool, and then we're gonna pop it out and eat it. It's still slightly warm, but it's so crumbly. It's more of a melty fudge than it is anything to like crack your tooth with. So crumbly, so soft. The coconut flavor is mild. It merges in beautifully with the butter and all the dairies that we have there melding together. I'm not gonna lie, this tastes just like my granny's fudge. I think I made granny proud of this fudge for sure. I'm actually gonna bag some of this up, divvy it up between my cousins because I told them I'm making a video on granny's fudge and already I have orders from them. And yeah, there you have it, guys. My family's fudge recipe is now yours. Special thanks to our friends at Cuisine for sponsoring this video. You can find Cuisine products at Massey stores nationwide. And also a happy Mother's Day to all you beautiful ladies out there. We love you, we appreciate our mothers in our lives, and we wish you an amazing day, and make sure your kids treat you well and make you this fudge. Until next time, guys, I'll see you. Bye.